Welcome to Bona Fide Bullshit, the podcast. This is episode
29.
29. That is right. And you know what I realized? That every time we do an intro, we never say, like, we are your hosts, Eli, and this is...
I am the main host, Angelica, of the Bona Fide.
You know, as I watch these back sometimes on YouTube, or when I listen to the playback on the podcast, on the actual audio side of our show, I'm always like,
you feel like we need to introduce ourselves a little bit more?
Yeah, you feel like you say, hey, I'm whoever, whatever, and this is da-da-da-da. I feel like we don't do that. I mean, in the bio or down below the description for the episode, the little teaser, we mention like, hey, did he like do this? Or what happens when Angelica, but I realize we don't really say our names. And I mean, we're 29 episodes in. I think maybe we said it in the beginning.
Do you feel like we need to reintroduce ourselves?
Maybe for episode 30, the big 30, maybe we might switch it up and have to have like a little official, like a rough with a whistle type
like
of,
intro, like re-intro.
Like a let me reintroduce myself. My name is Eli.
I literally was just thinking that.
E to the L-I. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I hope everybody's been having a great and awesome week so far. The weather's finally turning around here. We got a lot going on right now. The weather's finally turning around here. You're leaving us this weekend.
I'm leaving. I'm excited. I'm stressed. I'm all of the above. So
that's right. You're gonna be heading out for what, 5 days?
Las Vegas.
So Viva Las Vegas.
Yeah, Mom's weekend.
Man, I would have been in Vegas last week for TBE, but obviously what's going on, Jewish State didn't feel so comfortable joining that trade show.
Yeah.
But hopefully soon, I got some stuff lined up with them.
It's been a hot ass minute since we've been there. When's the last time we were there?
Last year in late January, very early February, I was out there for TBE.
Was that when when I just came, or was it me and Al and Anna?
No, that was a year before that for PCA, which was another convention. But yeah, no, you just popped out. You came like a day and a half later, I believe. You got in late at night.
Yeah. I missed your main little show thing.
Yeah, so. And then I can't. Did you leave early? Because I don't think we left together.
No, I literally was there. I think for like a day. Like I was exhausted.
Yeah, you came through. You hung out.
Yep.
We were to dinner, all that kind of good stuff. You got to see.
So this time you'll be here a little longer, which is exciting. But it's because we fly in kind of late and then leave late when we're leaving because the flights were all kind of fucking weird. So, but I'm excited because we're staying at a hotel that we've stayed at often. So I know it well, and it's a really nice one. And I'm hoping it's not too busy. I hear Vegas is getting kind of crazy, and they lifted like the mask mandates and stuff like that. So like, I don't know if it's going to be like crazy busy. I'd like it to be a little slower because honestly, if I could get a little time by the pool and read a book, listen to some music, like honestly, that is legit what I'm looking for. You know how I am when I go there. Like I love just being by myself and sitting by the pool. I'll walk around, have lunch by my motherfucking self, go shopping by my motherfucking self. And it's just like, that's it. Like I just kind of decompress like that.
Yeah, because I know typically people that go to Vegas, and we at least go once a year or sometimes up to 2 times a year.
Yeah.
Now, people at that rate would think like, oh my God, they're like habitual gamblers, but we're not. We're not gamblers, and that's our dog over there growling in the background. You guys can hear.
No.
But we're not real big gamblers like that. So it's kind of crazy because it's one of those things. We just like going out there. I mean, it's just
I don't like to fuck around with my money.
No, I mean we'll do like a $20 in there, and
Chucky.
This guy is today. Chucks.
Chucky, it's fine.
Chucks.
He's doing like under his breath too. You see his mouth? He's like this.
He's like a little side bark. Yeah. But back to what I was saying was that we typically don't get into any of those shenanigans where we're trying to like lose money, and then when we do, what is it like? Maybe we do $20-$30 and the penny slot.
It's shocking how much people just like drop when they're there, like nothing. And in my mind, sometimes I'm like, what do you do that you're just like, it's fine. I just lost $600. Yeah. It's fine. Like, I don't know what amount of money I can make per year or have in my bank account that if something like that happened, I'd be like, it's fine. Like, honestly, like that breaks my heart. I just think like, oh, it's so many meals and shopping shopping sprees and whatever.
I get
like it's a lot of money to like a normal ass person.
Typically, I'm a big buyer's remorse person to begin with. Like I get
you are,
and then I'm like, oh man, I could have done this with that. I could have bought this with that. So the times that I have lost a little bit of change, you're like, shit, that could have been like a meal, or that could have been like whatever. But there's times
I don't like that.
And it's like, and I know people. There was an individual I was there with one year. That
it's
he
one
was,
thing if you're purchasing
in.
something and you have buyer's remorse, but you're like, oh, this is like, it's
you justify it.
It's like, out of my comfort zone. It's a little bit more than I usually spend. When it's literally like just going out the window to nowhere, this huge Vegas casino that's a $1 billion whatever place.
Enterprise,
anyways,
yeah, it's crazy.
Like that's fucked up.
No, I was to say I was out there for one of the trade shows, and there's a certain individual I was with that was dropping money like it was going to stop, and he was losing a lot, and then he won a little. And then when he tells me what he was down, I'm like in my stomach, I was like, oh my God. Like, yeah, you just think about it. Like, people go out there, and granted, some hit big. And then, but for me too,
God bless. I wish I knew how, like, the little trickery to it, or if there's like a,
or even just how to, because there's just so many fucking different games you could get into. Like when we were that one year, the B-Boy met us, and Jenny, shout out to my homie B-Boy and Jenny. When they came out and met us, like, he showed us that one game where you just spin the wheel, which is kind of cool. It's simple. Yeah. But then there's all this other shit, because he's like, man, you want to go to the sports betting
books? What was that
books?
game that we played? What was that?
The one that we were playing with him?
Yeah, we were like at a table.
Yeah, it was just a wheel where it's spun, and wherever it landed on it, that's
and you would, okay, I remember now. You would put chips like on numbers or something. Oh, no.
It was the colors. And if it landed on that color, that number, that's the amount you would win.
And then Giselle and Catherine kind of taught me how to play craps. Craps?
Yeah, that was the one year. Yeah, Giselle and Catherine would teach you that.
And I won a little bit there, but I like. If you ask me now, I honestly couldn't even remember how to play that. So
yeah, see, that's the thing is like I don't like. So my buddy back to going when we were playing the tabletop game, he was like, "Hey, you ever get into any sports betting? I know you're a sports fan." And I'm like, "Nah, I never." He's like, "No, bro." So he was trying to explain it to me, and it still was like a level above me, like where I was just like, "Hold on, I'm kind of parlay into this and the over and the under." Like I know the simplicities of it. But then I started thinking, like, I don't know enough of it that I'm the type of guy that they look for, doesn't know it, and wants to play it, and then loses
I think
money.
the thought of it's very exciting. I used to have a friend here in Chicago, Jason. You remember Jason?
Yeah.
And he would gamble all the time, and he's just like, I'm going to go to the casino really quick, and we'll probably just win at like a few $1,000s. And I'm just like, what?
Well, I know he betted. There was a basketball game
How?
going on. Yeah, there was a basketball game going on, and he betted, and it had to do with like the over/under scoring and whatever. And he won a couple $100, and he only put like $20 down. So then you're sitting there like, fuck, maybe I could have done that. But then I start getting paranoid. I'm like, nah, because I'd be the guy to put that down.
A couple $100 is one thing, but like thousands to win thousands like that so easily. Yeah, that's something else.
When we went for our bachelorette party out there, there was someone that went ahead, and we were getting ready to leave on the plane. And we were all in the lobby meeting at like a 6 o'clock in the morning.
That feels like eternity ago. Like eternity. And our anniversary is at the end of this month.
Yes,
which is crazy.
But he went ahead and he's like, I'm just going to go to this table real quick because we're waiting for the taxi cab. And he walked over and he comes back and he has a stack of cash. He's like, oh, I only put like $200 on. I walked away with like $5,000. Within like, and they wanted him to play. They're like, no, we'll get you breakfast. Come on, stay. He's like, no, I'm leaving. And I'm like, fuck, man, you only put a couple $100, man. And you start thinking like, man, I could have been up. But then again, that's truly a game of luck, and you never know if that's...
Like, my dad likes to gamble, my half-sister likes to gamble, like, I know a lot of people. My grandma loves to gamble.
She does. She's got a whole system you better not fuck with, and she sits there.
And she does get pretty lucky a lot of the times. Like, she does lose, but, like, she does win.
Who was it? Was it Joey G? The comedian that was on Joe Coy stuff? Is it Joey G? That, he says, like, he was saying his Filipino grandmother would put the rosier around the slot machine and do a prayer and get away, don't touch, you know, and she's playing, and, like, that's Nana. Like, Nana goes there and you just don't fuck up her concentration.
So wear a certain shirt because, like, polka dots are supposed to be, like, good luck. So she'll, like, wear that. Yeah.
It's just, like, it's just completely a whole nother level when it comes to gambling down there. And, it's gonna be interesting. So I'm gonna be on super daddy duties, as I call it, because I'm gonna have the boys with me while you're out and about, and we promise to keep the house in one piece while you're gone,
and the kids fed.
And I'll try to keep the kids fed.
And my plants will not die.
You're gonna have to send your mother.
And the dogs have to be let out. Someone has to get them food and water because God knows I'm the only one who does that, and that he's fucking thirsty and following me around because no one gives them water. Right, Chucky?
That's what you want to go, then that's the stipulations of leaving. There's a little bit of gift there.
You're going to have to set reminders on your phone because Jesus Christ, I don't even know what's going to happen. I have to buy some food that you know how to not cook.
I'm an instant cook.
But warm oven. and I don't know,
I
air
could warm up
fry.
the oven. I could air fry some shit. I could microwave the hell out of some shit. You see me in the kitchen. I'm a mess trying to cook fucking pasta.
Oh
So
my
it's
God.
like, and that's just water, boiled water in a bowl and some noodles.
This is what happens when your adulting level is not up to speed. That's what happens.
Or otherwise, my kids would be eating Little Caesars and McDonald's every fucking day.
What happens if you're single? What happens? You better, honestly, you better not do anything to fuck this up because, like, you'll starve.
Oh, no.
Or you'll be 600 pounds because you'll be eating out every single day.
Well, when I was single, I mean, I definitely was a fast food junkie. And the horrible thing about it was I was a late night fast food junkie because I'd be so...
But you also lived at home, too. So your mom at least fed you sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I literally used that as a bed to barely sometimes if I went and got home to sleep in my bed. I mean, I was always out and about in the studio, and it was always some sort of fast food we were picking up. It was like, oh, we're going to have Chinese today. We're going to have this fast food today. We're going to have this burger joint. Like... Yeah. And I'm not a,
I'm not a heavy eater. Because you were like this before, like you were very skinny.
Yeah.
But we're not getting any younger.
But regardless, I'm not even a heavy eater to begin with. Like, you know that. Like I can eat one meal and I'm pretty straight for the rest of the day. But now, I live in a household where three people have 3 square meals and snacks.
Your heavy and my heavy is quite different. You're gonna be like, oh, I just had a light burger and fries. It's like so light. And then you're like, oh, it's just a perfect amount.
I'm like, it's just a single and a large fry. Like, I'm good.
Yeah, it's just a single and a large fry.
It didn't make up for my calories for the whole day.
No, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, that's how so. And to me, sometimes, there's times I could go, I leave in the morning without having breakfast. I mean, lately I grab a granola bar in one of our little bars just to kind of get something flowing in the system. But I know I've always been like that. I've never been an eater to be around, like, let me get my breakfast, let me get my lunch, let me get my dinner. And I even seen some of that, like, it was funny, like, I say that, it reminds me, like, when we would go to the Dells with your family and they had all the meals all planned out and your mom be like, you're not going to eat? Come on, eat. And I'm just like, no, like, I know you guys will miss a meal and that's cool, but I'm like, I'm straight right now. Like, we're just chilling.
But look how healthy we are. Look how healthy we are.
I'm healthy.
Like, we're so good. Our health is really good. My family's health has been really good. Like, this is like how one of the million things of why we're so opposite.
I mean, that is what it is. I mean, you're complaining about opposite. What are you trying to say? You're trying to bring somebody else in? Trying to have a sister wife or
brother husband?
No, sister wife.
I'm not into the really like sister wife thing, really, but the brother husband is kind of like I'm like ding. No.
I'm like ding. I mean, it's fun. You know, you watch those shows.
That's my new shit, Sister Wives.
Oh my God.
If you guys haven't seen it, it's amazing. It's not like, for those of you who like throuple, it's not like throupling. I think some of it is like religion based.
Most of it, because everything's like, well, God brought her here.
But
God
no, but some are like just spiritual or know that you could find love in many places and things like that. So yeah, it's not all like that, but it is like where there's, at least in the Sister Wives show on TLC, holla, it's one husband and multiple wives, and the wives are the reason they call it Sister Wives is because all the wives, whether it's 2 to 4 or whatever, are like they have a sisterhood. They're besties, they're friends. None of them like sleep together. They don't fuck around with like that. They're not intimate. It's only the husbands having sex with multiple people. Whether it's to, like, one guy is like, I'm trying to grow my kingdom. The other guy's like, oh, this is what God wants from me. And it's like, what is happening? Literally just say you want multiple women. Like, that's fine. But, like, it doesn't make sense to me.
I looked, and I don't really watch it like that. You watch it a lot more than I do. But if it's on and she's watching, I'll just chime in for a bit. So I'm sitting there, and I'm finishing up lunch, and I'm looking at it, and the one guy gave the most fucking epic excuse, because I guess his wife was having cold feet about... Once they met this Brazilian girl and she's really nice looking.
She didn't want the whole sister wife thing, but this is kind of like what he really wanted.
But it's coming out now that they met the girl and then he spent time with her and he's all smiling like, hey, look at my new shiny toy.
And he believes that this is what God wants from him, so he like had convinced his wife like, this is what we're doing, and she's like, all right, I'm on board. They found this woman in Brazil and they're both like, oh, she's amazing. But then obviously, when you start that, you don't know the dynamic. You're like, your husband, or now ex-husband, because they had to divorce in order for him to legally marry another woman.
Oh, I know that.
So now your husband, your ex-husband, but husband, is like courting this other woman. You're watching him be excited and go on dates and having sex and kissing and blah, blah, blah.
Like in the room next door, and she's you're probably hitting the fucking, hearing the...
Yeah.
You know, on the wall and shit. But what I was gonna say was, it made me laugh. He gave the excuse because now they had their talk and she kind of feels uncomfortable. And his response was, well, you know, God just hasn't spoken to her yet, so once he speaks to her, she'll be fine. And I was like,
no, it was
oh
God hasn't taken away her jealousy or something like that.
And I was like, what a fucking cockamamie excuse. I says, damn, I'm gonna start using that for some reasons around the house. It's always funny how people want to use God for something and be like, well, you know, it's because he hasn't worked his powers yet, or he hasn't laid his hand over you yet, that's why you're not doing what you want me to do in turn. That whole shit's just kind of crazy. I know we talked about before.
And some of them are just literally just interested. They're like, we just like to live the plural, they call it the plural lifestyle, like polygamy.
Polygamy, yeah. And we talked about it before when we were talking about thruples, and then now it's like this whole polygamy thing. Now they got a own show, and it's funny. And even
but
the
throuples,
community,
I get, like, y'all like each other, y'all want to have sex with each other, everyone's having sex with one another, but this is literally just like one husband and or one wife.
You know what it reminds
me of? And just having multiple spouses.
Remember we were always joking, Maria would make that comment, I told my husband, shout out to my bro Tim, she's like, I told my husband all the time, you want to bring another girl? You want to bring her? Fine, but you know she's going to have to cook, she's going to have to come clean, you know.
Right.
They're looking for the cleaning part, but doesn't want the intimacy part, you know. Yep. And that always made me laugh when she would have that reaction. Like,
and that's what some of them were saying. They're like, you know, some of them just like, let it be, whatever may happen, happens in the relationship. But other of them have like rules, like, and roles that they play in the family, you know, like one maybe has the babies because maybe the other one can't have babies, or, you know, something like that, or one is like the main caretaker, one is like whatever. But then it's like, then sometimes they have schedules of like who's having sex with who on one night, then some just like, you know, let it be, and, you know, whoever gets it gets it.
That, like I said, that whole watching that show is just like, oh my god, the shit that comes spewing out of their mouths. And then there's a whole religious factor side to it, which to me is just even more insane. And it's just like, I don't know, I got mixed feelings on it. I mean, to me, that's just it's enough dealing with one, let alone let me multiply this by 3 or 4, or the guy who wants his kingdom. And it's like, do you want that many headaches?
No.
Do you want to deal with that many Muslims?
Even if there was like a brother-husband thing, which I don't know if it's a real thing or if I made it up, but like, how? Just like, how could you possibly make multiple people happy? Not in just a sexual way, like in every way. Like, how do you take care of them, like mentally, on a day-to-day, financially?
Between work, which is typically 8 to 9 hours a day, that's already off its clock for the 24 hours. Then you have your other 8 of sleeping, right? So it leaves you another about 6 to like try to do anything. And it's like, there's not enough time in a day to entertain.
And then they have kids. So like, if you have, let's just say you have 4 wives, and at least each one has 4, if not more. Like, they're trying to legit grow a kingdom where there's like, you know, up to like 10 kids, you know, or sometimes, or so. So like, not only do you have multiple wives, you have all these kids from different moms, but then you blend them as one family. Like, it's a lot to think about, and like a different way of raising children, of knowing that kind of love and, you know, that dynamic, which again is all fine within your choice, but like, that's got to be such a different way in, you know, how you raise your kid, what you tell them about what love is about, what,
and you don't know how that also
you know,
might affect the kid. Maybe some kids are fine with it. I know the Sister Wives, that other show that was real big for years on TLC, where the guy, he has his little stable and they all have the houses at one point near each other.
Oh yeah, we're watching Seeking Sister Wives. Yeah. So it's multiple couples that are seeking more wives.
And they're giving you the whole setup of how they're trying to find these people to...
Sister Wives is the one that's been on forever without all those women that we all kind of know.
Yeah, the creepy looking dude, all the... Yeah, it's just
he's so creepy. Like, how did he even like get to this, like, you know, place
again,
in
I think you find... I mean, this is just my personal view and opinion. I think when people that are looking like that, they might look for women who are vulnerable, women who might have had a history or something when they were younger. I mean, it's that old adage where, and I'm not knocking strippers or women of the night that do their dancing or whatever, but they're always like, oh, there's always a daddy issue, and you laugh about it or porn stuff. Then you find out like, yeah, this happened to me, that happened to me, I didn't get this love. So they look for other ways. And you got guys, to me, those guys that are all about that, it's not a religion thing, it's like an exploiting thing. Like, let me find out your most vulnerable thing, that you need somebody, and then let me exploit that and then get you to conform to my ways. And it's just like, it's borderline fucking sad. But TLC has no chill. We know TLC has no chill.
Yeah, they have no chill. I think it could be like those issues that you said, but I also think that it could be like, now in this day and age, there's obviously like every walk of life, whether you're straight, gay, bisexual, etc., 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 which goes to relationship as well. It's not just like husband-wife anymore. You know, wife, husband, mix up, you know, so it's just like keeps expanding, you know, and people are interested and they want to like explore and like, you know, I get that. Like, I get that you could find love in different places. It's not always like romantical love, you know. It's like friendship love. So, like, are they finding that kind of like friendship soulmate?
Well, the one girl said that they do more stuff together than without the husband. Like, they're always doing things together.
So, do you find your soulmate in your husband, and then they're finding like a friend soulmate in this other sister wife? You know, like, I don't know. I mean, I find it weird and I couldn't fucking do it, but I'm saying like maybe that's like
kind of how weird, they feel. But you know what's funny, you know, it was to me what made me laugh too was something that I always thought about. Like, I mean, you joke about doing the brother husband, and it was funny how the one girl was like, she was, you know, talking to the guy, he was interviewing her, whatever you want to call it, and they're having drinks and they're talking, and she made the comment to where she's like, well, you know, I like being with multiple people. Like, he threw a curveball at him.
Yeah,
like,
she's like, I'm just not sure. I'm just still exploring because she's bisexual. That's the bisexual one. She's like, and he's like, didn't know that. So he said, oh, I didn't realize you were bisexual. So she's like, yeah, you know, I think I want to be with multiple, but like in the sister wife thing, it's the husband has the multiples. Like the women do not have multiples.
Yeah,
like that's not allowed.
She's like, I'm trying to have fun. I'm trying to get dick down.
Yeah, and she's she was 22. So like, I don't blame her. Like, the fuck are you doing? Joining this like, you know, couple that has, you know, kids and they're ready for you to settle down. Like, that's what they wanted her to do. And you're 22. Go fuck around. Go whole round.
The crazy thing is
that's your job.
Not to go against my own rule. Don't judge a book by its cover. But then you look at them and they're all some weird fucking looking creepy people. Like, you're just like, yeah, you kind of got that vibe like you would try to pull some shit like that. Like, yeah, maybe. You kind of come off kind of fucking like, what the
I think it's that, like, I don't know. I don't want to say hippie, but, like, very,
free
you know,
love.
Yeah, you know.
Free spirit.
Free spirit, that's what I'm looking
for. My
A
chakras.
little bit more of a free spirit.
What the energies are giving out.
Yeah. Like, you don't fit, like, in that, you don't feel like your heart or the way you love, like, fits in that mold. And I do believe there's like so many different kinds of love, but like, yeah, what's it called? Monogamy, I guess, is more for me.
That is something.
It's not for everyone, okay?
Yeah, God bless, or whatever floats your boat, or whatever you could tell somebody, feed them some shit to get it.
Listen, if you can get multiple wives or multiple husbands, more power to you. But God bless you if you're trying to handle all that at once, because you're gonna need like a drug or two to get through that.
For real, one's already a job, and we say it, one's a job. Why you want to multiply that by even more?
I'm a motherfucking career.
Yeah.
You're welcome. It's the gift that keeps on giving. It's the career that keeps on giving.
Yeah, the gift that keeps on giving, or the bad weed that never goes away. I mean, potato, tomato.
The bad eye.
The bad eye, the whole nine. Wherever your definition out there, that's what it is. Well, folks, got to remind you guys, as always, as we do here each and every week, support for Bona Fide Bullshit, the podcast, is brought to you by Manscape. Who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming? Offers precision engineered tools for your family jewels. They obsess over their technology developments to provide you the best tools for your grooming experience. Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. We have an exclusive offer for our listeners. 20% off plus free shipping with the code BONA at manscaped.com. Use promo code BONA at checkout for your 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. I know I tell you guys each and every week. You can
free S&H.
Free S&H.
Free S&H.
Shipping and handling is free.
You got
and
it.
you're going to get 20% off. And they just launched the 4.0, which I haven't got to try just yet, but I'm already hearing good reviews on the 4.0.
If the 3.0 has an LED, then the 4.0 must have like a disco ball.
I mean, it's...
I don't even know.
Again, every time they come out with these, they level them up.
It's impressive.
One of the cool things that they have to share is, so they have like a blade program where when you do buy, and it's your choice, at your discretion, excuse me, where you do a blade subscription. So they'll send you new blade heads every 3 months, and they're anywhere between, I think it's like $9-10, something like that. But it automatically charges you, and it comes to your front door. And then sometimes they throw you in a little extra goodie, which is kind of good, because when my blade went out...
Which is what you pay in the drugstore for like shittier blades. So that seems to like, you know, sometimes you're like, oh, is it worth it? No, that's like right on par.
It's right on par, and I mean, it comes right to your door, and they give you like a little extra goodie. That, like I said, every month's been something different. Where I got a different lotion that came in there, or a different, you know, freshener for the jewels down there. It's kind of a cool little extra surprise. You don't know. One time they sent me the actual shaving blade that they sent me to, which is a real sturdy, real good material. So I mean, that's kind of a cool thing, that, you know, having that freeze of mind that you don't, oh man, this blade's already getting bad, or it's a little bit dull, I need a new one, let me go buy one at the store. No, literally 3-4 months, that thing's hitting your front doorstep. It's real easy. You pop off the top, you're gonna pop in the new one, and you keep rolling right through. So again, you guys gotta take advantage of that over at manscape.com. Use our promo code BONA. Folks have been hitting something and using it, and they have not regretted. So make sure you guys go on and get on that bandwagon.
Yep, you have to.
You have
for summer.
Do you have anything on a docket that you want to talk about? Anything that's pressing?
No, not really pressing. So, you know, I go to the gym every morning, and this just got me like in my feels, I think, this morning. But I always see this one woman there, and she's like a total badass. Like, you could tell she has a fucking killer body. You could tell she used to like compete, or, you know, in bodybuilding or whatever. And I always hear we don't talk because everyone's like very focused at that time, whatever. And she talked to me today because she was just like complimenting me on my leggings or whatever. So we were just like chatting a little bit. And we were talking about like, oh, you know, people who go at this time are crazy. And we were talking about how much we like it and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I guess it just goes to show, like, I always look at her like, oh man, I wish I had her body, or I wish blah, 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 you know what I mean? And so we were talking about how we go that early, and she goes, yeah, well, she's like, you know, she's like, I'm 36, I'm single, I live by myself, and honestly, I'm just like really lonely, so why not like wake up and just go to the gym? And I was like, oh, I'm like, that just sounded like really sad, you know? Wow. And I was like,
Does she look 36?
She's very, yeah, I could tell she's like around my age. Like, she looks, you know, everyone that goes, like, okay, so I get up like at 3:15, so I could get there usually around 4-ish or so. So usually everyone around that time is, I would say, in their 30s, maybe 40s, tops. So yeah, everyone's like around the age. I could tell she was around the same age bracket as me, but I was like, oh man. And you know, the reason I started going this early was because I'm like, I'm trying to find the right like time to go, that I'm not like gone at night, I'm not like gone from the family. And I was like, well, this is, at first I was like, this is just what I had to do, and I didn't want to, honestly, and I honestly ended up loving it. But anyways, I did it so that I could come home and everyone would still be sleeping, or, you know, starting to wake up, and I could still be with my family. So it's like, I guess, you know, just the thought of being our age now and you know, not having anyone, or not having anyone to go home to, like, when she said that, I was like, I'm like, that's sad. And, you know, so it just like, you know, as much as I'm just like, sometimes like, I fucking need a break from these assholes, like, goddamn, you know, I'm still always happy to come home to you guys, you know what I mean? As stressful as days might be, as whatever, this, that happened, whatever, like, I'm still always happy that I have like someone to come home to, like a family to come home to, pets that are always happy to see me, you know what I mean? I can't imagine just being like, fucking, I'm gonna wake up, you know, work out at like 4 o'clock in the morning because I'm lonely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, you know, whatever, when you look at someone, you're like, I wish this, I wish that, you don't know, like, you know, what you're wishing for, they're wishing for the same, you know, in you.
Think back. Yeah, that was one thing that I remember, like, there's people that I used to come up in the music industry with that are still either single or still just living that crazy life, but then they always tell me like, man, God bless you, God bless your family, like, you know, you switched gears and you're doing the family thing and you're doing your thing. And I said, yeah, I said, it definitely was an adjustment, but I do have my moments. And even when I was leaving every couple weekends for a couple days to go travel to DJ as a family now, it's like, fuck that. Like, the first day you're like, okay, cool, I'm just gonna do my thing, I'm on my road. And then the next day you're like, fuck, I missed them. You know, like, I miss opening, you open the hotel room door, it's just you and whatever's going on. And for some reason our intro just kicked on.
What did you do there?
I don't know, our intro just happened to kick on. But they go ahead and, you know, you start to miss your family. As much as stuff drives you nuts, you're just like, it's crazy. Like I said, and I look at these guys, I'm like, man, they're tearing it up. They're on the road still, they're living life. But then I walk up to them, and these are people that have been on the road, and they look at me, and they're just like, man, I love what you have. And not that I've ever taken it for granted, but I can see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, you're just like, you know, you look for those moments, but then you're just like, fuck, man, like.
I think
I'm
that's
very
like in
fortunate.
everyone, just like in all the, you know, documentaries that we've watched, whether it's on the DJs or other celebrities or wrestlers and stuff like that we always continuously watch all the time. It's like the things that happen behind the closed doors when maybe you're in the spotlight, or maybe, you know, people think you have it great, or whether it's you look amazing, or you look like you have an amazing life, or all this money, like it's still not everything, and
It's not.
you know,
That's like the
people
one
are still very lonely, and that's something like I feel like that sinks so deep in people's souls that, like, you know, it's what you know,
it does,
can
you know,
kill-
like
can kill
speaking
them
of
sometimes.
watching these documentaries, I'm not gonna get fully into it, but one of the ones, A&E's been doing these real cool untold stories of a different wrestler every week, and like the one in particular, I mean, they all have the same thing, from Stone Cold to Roddy Piper to Booker I mean, they all said like they were dedicating their life to being on the road, and it was hard to be with their family. And Stone Cold,
And they missed out a lot on
yeah,
their
he
family.
said, you know, both his daughters were now he's
Birthdays,
getting involved
games,
in their life,
things like that.
but he's like, you know, in order for me to be on top, be the champion, you're on 24/7, you're traveling, you got appearances. He's like, yeah, your family has a big house, yeah, your family has the stuff, but there's nothing to fill it. The latest one this weekend was Shawn Michaels, who he talked about a buddy that he was coming up with wrestling, and that his buddy, he came to visit him, and Shawn, I guess, walked out of the house like, don't look it, you should have stood with me, we could have had all this big mansion. But Shawn admitted, like, this guy's rolling up with his family, and he doesn't have family. And at that point, he thought, man, I got to get my shit together. I want a family. Like, you do want it, but you're so busy getting caught up in trying to provide that foundation. And that goes with anything when it comes to entertainment in general.
Yeah.
Like, there's going to be some give there where you're going to be some lost time. And we went through a little bit of that where I was just so busy providing. Yeah, the bank account's looking good. Yeah, we're buying things, but the one thing you can't buy is that time back, and the one thing you can't buy is being together. Like, money can't buy that. That's something.
And the point hit even in our relationship where I was like, listen, I know you're doing all this to provide and to get us money, but, you know, I don't even have a husband anymore. So if that's the case, like, why be married? You know, it's just...
And that goes in a couple of job fields. There's in, you know, my 9 to 5 job field. I'm not in this specific department, but there's a department that they have to be around the clock, and their schedules are crazy, especially during the wintertime. And that they said that department has the highest divorce rate because they're not home. But now they're banking like a couple hundred G's a year.
Super fucking bank. Like money where you're like, oh, I wish I had that kind of money. Or you look at someone, you're like, God, I wonder what they do. I wish I had that kind of money.
The one guy is like, yeah, during the winter, sometimes I don't go home for almost 2 weeks straight. They let them stay there. They have the little bed. I forget the beds, they go in the wall.
There's a lot of high demand jobs. I know I even had, you know, a friend that was a lawyer and is a lawyer. And, you know, she just, you know, had worked her whole life, like trying to get up to that,
top.
I don't know, practice or whatever.
Yeah.
Like be part of the firm or whatever. You know, I know she wanted to be like married with kids, and and now she's like 40 plus, and you know, at that point, you know, as women, it's hard to have babies. It's hard, you know, it's dangerous, blah, blah,
that time, like we just said again, that time just flew by you.
The time flew by.
You got all this money, you got everything you want, but now you can't go back and buy those years you missed.
You're so focused on that, then you're like, oh my God, you know, time has gone by, and, you know, I don't have this little, like, you know, family unit that I've been hoping for.
There's something to make it work, because I remember when I was on tour with Paul Wall, he had his family with him, and granted they were on the bus, and I'm sure maybe his wife was probably going nuts, but he had his newborn daughter, his son, and his wife were with him traveling on the road, because he's like, yeah, I want my family with me. So granted they're on the road, toughing it out, but he had them with him, you know, so there's always a give and take, and I know some people are just like, no, leave the wife. There's some individuals like, no, I want to separate the both, I don't want them around this and being around here.
Life and career is, you know, it's so fucking tricky, because whether you're in like that corporate life, whether you have a family business like my family, or a small business like a lot of our other friends, like there's still so much balance you have to do. I think people think, oh, if you have a small business or family business, you know, you just do all this amazing things and have all this time and you can do whatever the fuck you want. Like, no, because there's no one else higher up, like, taking care of stuff, you know, for us.
At the end of the day, you're working even more harder because you got people you're responsible for. And
it's not like you could, like, you dictate, like, all these different hats. Like, you're the one person with, like, 70 hats. you know, on top of being a wife, a mother, yourself, and, you know, not losing that, you know, all in the meantime. So, you know, yeah, shout outs to all the parents just doing it, whatever your career might be, because that shit it's not easy. You know?
It's not. Just always
especially
remember,
in these days.
And always remember, we'll leave you with this before we get out of here, is when you think you got it bad, the old saying, when you think you got it bad, someone out there has it more worse than you. So be grateful for what you have and just know that that's the path you're supposed to be on.
I'm so grateful for you.
I'm so grateful for you too.
Stop. Stop it.
Stop blushing.
I'm PMSing.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm gonna start crying.
And on that note,
till next time.
Folks.
Episode 30.
Will be episode 30, the big 30. We appreciate each and every one of you guys rocking out with us here each and every week on all your favorite podcast platforms, as well as right here on YouTube. For those of you watching us on YouTube, if you guys haven't checked us out on YouTube, make sure you guys go ahead, you visit the page, you click like on the video, you subscribe, and you hit the
Bona bell.
That's right, the notification Bona bell. Make sure you get notified every Wednesday when a new episode is posted. And keep rocking out with us on our social media platforms. Like I always say, you're going to hit us up at bonafide_BS is where you can find us at.
Till next time, bitches. We love y'all. Peace out.